The volume? Oh, okay. Go ahead, speak. Why you have to speak? Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين اللهم أسألك حسن التوكل عليك ودوام السعي إلى رضاك جنبنا وساوس الشيطان وقنا شر الإنس والجان وهب لنا حقيقة الإيمان وارزقنا الخير الحلال اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم أما بعد. Today inshallah is session 2 about our course Legacy of Islamic Civilization. Inshallah, before I start, I just go over a brief summary of the previous session. We said that mainly the purpose of this course is to rebuild the mind of our Muslim student in order to engage them in making history again and have the celebrity of the Muslims in science, in math, in astronomy. They will understand how their mind was functioning within the spectrum of Islam. So the scope of the course is to answer also the global question that the whole world asking about is the Muslim do the Muslim have some contribution for the good of the humanity or for the uplift of the humanity? So in many areas. So how the civilization work together, and is there a clash of civilization or dialogue of civilization, and how to build the Muslim mind. So we said that before we do that, I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to share the screen. Where is it? Let me try to get the file. So I'll just share the screen with you. You can go over the screen. So I'm going to share the screen. So this is the screen, the Islamic civilization. It's a combination of history and the study of the master and the celebrity of the Muslim, Al-Kindi, Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd, Ibn Khayyam, Ibn Nafis, all this. So we are having this every Wednesday from 7 to 7:40, and with question and answer, inshallah, after the first 20-25 minutes of lecture. The scope of the course is to answer the global question, to rebuild the Muslim mind, to figure out what the Muslim and the non-Muslim say about the Islamic civilization, and what is the contribution of the Muslim in the world. So we cannot do that without going historically how the role models of the Muslim, their mind were functioning in their time, and explanation of the major historical station. So we went last week about the first session where we defined the Muslim civilization is rebuilt based on one vision, which is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's the mission of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then all what comes after is because the Quran and the Sunnah already built. That's the main source of the Islamic civilization. Already built the mind of the Muslim, and that's how the mind of the Muslim function. So the question that comes, so the Muslim mind that was built by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was always positive. It was always for the good of the humanity and for the good of the people. So any question that Muslim, in a way or another, the Muslim civilization was harmful to, it's out of the context. So, and we defined that all the Prophet, they came for one mission, is to change the community around them and to uplift the community around them. So, and we explained that the Quran itself, it talks about the previous societies, how they were up and what makes them go down, either the Israelite or the people of Pharaoh or the people of Ad or people. These are also the pre-civilization, but in the same time, they went up at one time and they went down. So the Muslim mind is to study this, what makes them go up, what makes them fall. So, and it is mentioned in the Quran, all their stories. So all their stories, how they went up and how they went down, how they were punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the source of the Islamic civilization are the main source of Quran and Sunnah. The Sunnah, we mean what we mean by the Sunnah is the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all aspects of life. So this is one of the pictures about Al-Hamra. This is one of the perfection picture and the top of civilization that the Arabs and the Muslims reached in Andalusia. So we said that the pillar of the Islamic civilization are the Iman, because we believe in Muhammad, we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the honor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what makes the mind of the Muslim. The Ibadah, which is all the scientists, all the mathematicians, all the astronomers, all of them, they were doing the right Ibadah that we are doing right now, the fasting, the prayers, the Hajj. So parallel to that, they explore the science, how things works, and they try to find out the formula of things, how it works. That's what makes their mind. And all of them, they obey by the Sharia rules, because whatever invention, before they do any invention, they have to think about what is the good, what is the aim of the invention itself. It is harmful or it is not harmful. And they were having the ethical of Islam, which is the ethical of Islam itself is from the source and the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the source of the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when Abu Bakr Siddiq himself, before sending the army to the battle, he told them, don't cut any tree, don't harm any elders, don't destroy any synagogue or any church. That's the mind of the Muslim that they were working all through the time and the history of Islamic civilization. So we said also that the Arabic language is one of the main pillar of the Islamic civilization, because at the time of at the time of the Bi'thah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Arabic, it was at the top. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preferred the last book, which is the Quran, to be sent at the top language at that time, which is the Arabic. So, and after that, all the scientists and all they explore. From one side, they know what the Quran is telling them. From the other side, they know the teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is requiring them and what he taught them. And from the other side, they use this scientific brain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them to perfection and to bring some product of the civilization. So if we would go back a little bit to the Quran is the one that we have it in front of us. So it's the 114 chapters, and this Quran is, we can say it is in three parts. One part it talks about the previous nations, and one part it talks about the Nordis time at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the next it talks about the Day of Judgment and what is going to be in the future. So in a way or another, one part it talks about the past, one part talks about the present, and one part it talks about the future. So Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha, when she was asked, what is the character of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said that his character is the Quran. It means that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anything is in the Quran, that's what built his way of behaving with the community or with the individuals, and that's his teaching. So the Sunnah is an explanation of what is in the Quran. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's the man, he's a prophet, he's the qadi, he's the general of the army, he's a parent, he has a family, he's a spouse, he has spouses. So he was a human. So that's what is our role model of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's what all the scientists and all the scholars, they took him as the role model in their life. So the next, we are going to reach a level right now where this station is part of this of today course, which is what was the spectrum of the world, what was the geographical map of the world before the Bi'ath of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how the Arabs they were at that time. So we have at that time, before the Bi'ath of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have 3 or 4 major civilizations. They were surrounding the area of the Arabia. So the most well-known is the Persian civilization and the Roman civilization. A question that comes in mind: why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he didn't send his last messenger to these 2 powerful empire at that time? The reason behind is because there was too much corruption in these 2 empires. So there are wars. The Roman, they were having a kind of a materialism life, and there are wars against the Christian in Egypt or in Syria, in Sham at that time, the Byzantines, and they were taxing people left and right. There is corruption in their kingdoms. The Persian also, they were having kind of false gods, low ethical life, corruption spread. So the next 2 civilizations are the Greeks and the India surrounding the Arabia at that time. So the Greeks are too much in philosophy, and you heard about Aflaton and all this, they're too much in philosophy. So it means that too much in the theory other than the practice. And the Indian, they were having false gods and living in a material life. What makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala select the Arabia and Mecca itself? Because it was the middle. It was still an area based on the fitra. Still an area based on the fitra where it has, from one side, it has a link to the original Islam that was sent to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then that's the connection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to make a connection with the birth of Islam, with Ibrahim alayhi salam, and a connection to the last prophet sent to the humanity in the same area, Mecca. And if you look nowadays, you see that most of the Hajj, al-Sha'air al-Hajj, are based on what Ibrahim alayhi salam. So the Arabs, even their time and they were kind of mushrikeen. They believe idols on this, but the source is they kept the source of and the habit, the daily habit of the time when they plan for the Hajj to receive the Hajji, the people who come for the Kaaba. Even the Kaaba is surrounded with idols, but they were serving this Hajji, and before the Hajj, they make a huge meeting and they distribute the task between the Arabs tribes at that time. So the Arabs themselves at that time, or before the Ba'ath of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were having some advantage, some good things, some inner things, some good ethical, comparing to the other empire. So first of all, it's a quiet region, it's tribal region, and the Arabic language is at the top. They understand. They have a poetries. So they have very good character in helping the needy. They have good character in ikram al-dayf, in welcoming the guest, and they have generosity. So they have less corruption. They are furious in the wars. So they have, in a way or another, the Arabs before the Ba'ath, they were having, they fulfill their promise. They are generous. They fight the transgression. If somebody is transgressing, they fight the transgressor. So the minus of it, the other side of it is they kill people for the honor. They create some false wars, and they are kind of ignorant what's going around them. So, and you heard about one of the wars between Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj. It was for 40 years. So it's just because of they raced a horse race, and one of them he lost, and then the both tribes they were in a fight. So that shows you how they are. What Allah Subhanahu wa Taala want to unite all these tribal in one. Under a cause, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by sending Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and for Islam to the Arab Peninsula, is to unite all this tribe and to give them a cause for to live with, and that's the energy that they got it, and that's the message Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam inculcated in them, in their personality. Then they become. They have a cause, and they become wait a minute. Yeah. So why we are going back? Because we cannot go through the civilization without understanding the map, geographical, the spiritual map of that area, the material map. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be sent at that time because the superpower at that time, either the Roman or the Persian, they were going in the wrong direction, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look at the Arabs and in a way or another find that they are the ones they can carry the message. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them this gift of the last book to be sent to the humanity, and the last prophet to teach this book to the humanity. So I'll just tell you a quick things that to show you how the Arabs they were having a good character at that time. So just let's take an example of generosity. So probably you know this personality. The name of it is Hatim al-Ta'i. This Hatim al-Ta'i, he used to be a very generous at the level where one day there is a drought, there is no food in the area, people are suffering. So his neighbor, the mother of the kids, she came to him in the night and she told him, my kids are dying out of hunger. So even his kids, even his kids, his wife, she was complaining, do you have any food for the kids? They are in angry. They are angry and hungry in the same time. So he kept quiet. But when his neighbor, she came, she told him, my kids are suffering, they don't have. He told her, bring the kids to me. She brought the kids, and he went outside, and he slaughtered his horse, which is out of the box generosity that an Arab, he slaughtered his horse because the most valuable things at that time is the horse itself. So he slaughtered and he cooked it and he gave to the lady and her kids and he gave to his kids. Then he called all the village to come and enjoy the food. And the good about it, he himself, he didn't eat at all, because he went out of generosity. He want the whole village to eat from his horse. So this is just to show you that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the last book to these people, is not for is based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He honored them with this message. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to see if you have any question. If you have any question, you can talk.
Is there a recording for the first section?
Yes, it's already on the YouTube. If you go to the YouTube of the masjid or the Facebook of the masjid, you will find it there. If not, you give me your email, I can send it to you. Do you have any question?
There.
If anybody has any question, we can go over the question, inshallah. If you didn't understand anything, or because we are, what I'm trying to do is to, first of all, to build the main things that so can take you back to the history, so we can build a good vision about it. And then once we go deep in the future session, we'll go and we start the celebrities and the scholars and the scientists of the Muslim Ummah. So if anybody has any question or anything to add, let me know. So everybody should understand that also one other thing is Mecca itself was the center of all the world at that time, all the Bible world, all the world that is dynamic at that time, because it was between the two empires, Persian and Roman. So the people of Mecca, they have their own fitra, they're still on their fitra, they are not corrupted, and they used to go trading to Yemen and to Sham, and thus the trading itself, it was the connection. That's the only connection to the outer world of the Arabs at that time, because they go with caravans in the winter and in the summer to bring goods, to take goods from Mecca and to bring goods from Sham or Yemen. And even it's mentioned in the surah of إِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ إِلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Arabs at that time that you have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who allowed you and gave you this access to the world where you go and you bring goods from Yemen and from Sham. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Just worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's providing you with this safety on the road and all this. So go ahead if anybody has any question or any. The meeting, okay. So some of the questions that, go ahead, Salman. Brother Salman, you want to talk?
No.
No? Okay. So one of the questions is that we as a Muslim, we ask is what happened for the Muslim? Why what happened to the Muslim? They are not engaged in invention anymore. Version, if we compare the last 3 centuries to the previous century, where they used to run from China to Spain, and where the science flourishes everywhere, and what makes the mind and the brain of the Muslim to stop? So this is a good question. Many of people, they explained because the Muslim world, because the Khilafah itself, it was down at 1923. So we don't have a Khalifa anymore that governed the Muslim world. And then after that, the Muslim, they were colonized by British, by France, and then the Western civilization, nowadays Western civilization, took over. So the question is that there is a poet that says, لولا الرسول وشرع الله ما بزغت شمس لعرب وصرح المجد لم يقم عار على أمة دان الوجود لها أن يستبيح حماها خائن الذمم بالأمس كنا أساتذة الدنيا وسادتها ما بالنا اليوم أصبحنا من الخدم. So this poet is questioning, he said that if it was not, so لولا الرسول وشرع الله, if it was not the Quran and the Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Arabs will never have a civilization. So the main power tool for the Arab civilization, it was because of Islam. It's not the other way around. It's not the Arabs, they brought their own civilization. It's Islam that empowered the Arabs. That's the gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the Arabs should recognize. So number 2, لولا الرسول وشرع الله ما بزغت شمس لعرب. It will never, the Arabs will never have shams, a sun above them, which is a sight of a sun, if Islam was not there, and if Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not there. So then the question that comes, it says, بالأمس كنا أساتذة الدنيا وسادتها. Just yesterday, he mean by yesterday, a few centuries back, we used to be the teachers of the world. What happened? He's questioning what happened. So بالأمس كنا أساتذة الدنيا وسادتها ما بالنا اليوم أصبحنا من الخدم. What happened for this great civilization? Now they are back in the back seat instead of driving the world. So why we are in the back seat? For the major things is because Islam is not in our life anymore. So it is in our life as individual or as community, but it is not in our life as government. Our government, they don't take Islam as the source. They don't teach Islam correctly to the people or to the student. Our universities in the Muslim world, they are behind. So, and if you are behind, so if you are a follower, you never catch up with the one that you are following. So unless you have to change the direction. So that's exactly the problem of the Muslim nowadays. We are behind the Western civilization, and wherever they go, we follow them. I'm not talking about individual again. I'm talking about our countries that they are moving with what the Western government tells them to do. So in science, in education, in everything. So you never produce something if you don't produce it within your own archetype, which is within your own thinking. So unless you change the direction and you start going back to the Islam and you take the Quran and the Sunnah as the source of the knowledge, and then you can produce to the world. And believe me that the world is in need for the Muslim, is in need for the mind of the Muslim, because some of the civilization, we trust some of the civilization, and they are bringing more harmful to the humanity than they should bring the good to the humanity. So when you see the world, there are full of wars left and right. People are dying out of hunger. What is that? Islam always, and the Muslim always think about their neighbor as to bring to help. So what happened for the world when you find 1/3 of the world is living under the poverty? So because the world is not rich? No. Allah's bounty is everywhere. So we are here as a Muslim is to fix this problem. And we don't expect the other to fix his own mistake. So somebody else has to come and tell him you are going to the wrong direction. So either yourself, you go back to your religion and you take a lead, or you have to give the nasiha to this worldwide deciders to adapt the Islamic ethical, which is the middle. So Islam always bring solution to the communities, to the individuals, and to the worldwide. So if you see the two superpower, the Soviet Union and the Americans, so they were in a fight for destinies and destinies. So the Muslim at that time, they were thinking, are we going to go with the communist bloc? Are we going to go with a liberal bloc? But they never think that why not we will have our own bloc? Why not we'll have our own way of establishing our social life, our economical life, our political life as a Muslim, which is more than 50 country, and to preach Islam and to show the world that also as a Muslim we have something something to give to the world. So we are not. I'm not here to discredit what thinkers and some of the good that was done over the last three centuries. But in the same time, we have to recognize that it was a mistake, that the Muslims, they didn't take it serious, the Quran and the Sunnah, and we left it. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, why we took اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Al-Quran mahjur, it means that we left the Quran. It doesn't mean that we don't read the Quran. Yes, we read the Quran, but with which glasses we are reading the Quran. So the previous, they were reading the Quran with a scientific hint from the Quran, taking any scientific hint, then they can produce to the humanity something good. So I think the Zoom is going to finish. I'm done. So let's finish. And if you have any question, please send me your question. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.